Before we begin, I said, we have someone who'd like to introduce themselves. A young woman glanced up nervously at me, anxiously picking a loose thread in her ratty jacket. I gave her a reassuring smile, motioning for her to stand. Hi, she said, a little awkwardly. I'm Brittany, and I'm an addict. Her story was typical. Early 20s, addicted to methamphetamine, used to live with her dealer/boyfriend until he threw her to the streets for pinching his stash. She began turning tricks in the cold Chicago area at night to get her fix, and she wanted out. It still took me weeks to convince her to come to a meeting. Brittany still looked a bit uneasy, and we adjourned with the Lord's Prayer, but quickly warmed under a dozen welcoming hugs. I think I even saw her smile. Once the last group had left, I had Brittany stay behind. It was time for her private treatment. I learned long ago what a beast addiction is, and how my gift could be used to overcome it. I asked her to look deeply into my eyes, just as the others had. She nodded blankly as the compulsion took hold. I commanded her to extend her arm, where I gently made the smallest incision above her wrist. Then, detox. I carefully drew the poison from her blood. Its taste of vile film across my tongue. She felt no pain. When it was done, I took care to retch it all into a bucket. I snapped my fingers and she rose, walking out the door into the blustery evening. With any luck, I'd see her again next week, with new friends and well on her way to a new life. There was just one final matter to attend to. I knocked 3 times on the grimy apartment door. Yeah? Who is it? A young man shouted over the blaring music. My name is Matthew, I said. Is this where Brittany Morgan used to live? The music dimmed. I heard the rattle of many locks being opened before the door swung wide open. Before me stood a young man with rotten teeth, his arms scarred and raw from the constant scratching. Tell her she's a thief, said the young man. And you can tell her I said so. I smiled. I'm actually her counselor. Part of our program involves cutting off old acquaintances and paying old debts. I flashed a wad of cash under his nose. If we can talk, I'm sure we can come to an agreement. He nodded, a strange vacant look coming over him. Yeah, come in. I never admitted to my sponsees, but I sometimes get a little high. I felt a bit guilty as I walked out of the apartment, stomach full, riding waves of euphoria. A century can give a vampire a long time to reflect. I told myself I'd start helping people. But as we say at meetings, once an addict, always an addict.